I've got a story for you to reflect on.
Hit me.
I will hit you with the sun's rays. In the film The Mummy, there's a scene in which the hero has to go deep into a dark tomb, and in order to light his way, he kicks into gear a system of ancient Egyptian mirrors which bounce the sun's rays from outside deep into the bowels of the cavernous tomb so that they can navigate safely.
How enlightened.
Well, that's the question, isn't it?
That's the question. And here's the clip. Sunlight is bounced into the mummy's tomb.
And then there was light.
But is this ancient illumination really possible?
So what do you want to do first?
Well, look, this myth is all about lighting up the darkness with the sun's rays reflected. We need to answer the question, what does it mean to light up the darkness?
We need to define that. What's the minimum amount of light necessary to move around in an unfamiliar space?
Exactly, and I think I've got just a procedure to test this out.
Okay.
Oh, don't worry, you're gonna love it. Before we start bouncing light around the shop with mirrors, we need to determine a couple of benchmarks that we'll be aiming for in these tests. The first one we've determined is the Hollywood benchmark. This is the amount of lighting that they used while filming the film that properly tells the story of a light beam bouncing around with mirrors and lighting up a room. The second benchmark is what I consider to be the heart and soul of this story, and it is, what is the minimum amount of ambient light required to see?
So, step one is finding the minimum benchmark light level needed to see by. And Adam's brainwave to test it is a makeshift maze.
So, what's with the setup? Well, we tried to think like archaeologists. An archaeologist going from the desert down into a tomb full of unknown valuable objects and unknown antiquated history does not want to disturb anything in the tomb, even if the lighting conditions are really dim. He doesn't want to disturb anything. He definitely doesn't want to break anything, and that's why we have all the wine glasses precariously placed on posts. We are going to try and make it through this obstacle course under very low light conditions to determine the minimum light conditions you can make it through this obstacle course without breaking anything. That's the sound of failure.
With the course set, the guys focus on benchmark one, the Hollywood level of illumination.
I'm all set.
That means playing with the light level until it matches that of the movie.
Okay, that works for me.
And then record the lux level.
We're going to measure our ambient light level using a meter, like this one, which receives light in through the sensor here and converts that to an electrical signal. Now, our computer converts that signal into what is known as lux.
In the days when candles were king, scientists determined that 1 lux is the amount of illumination that falls over 1 square meter if a candle is set 1 meter away. Using this scale, about 300 lux is the minimum level needed to read by. But how many lux is the movie scene? To find out, it's trial by tweaking as the MythBusters crank up the levels bit by bit.
201 lux.
And with the benefit of a jump cut or two,
That ought to do it.
they soon find the level they think is a lux lookalike for the mummy.
This looks great. It looks just like the movie.
Okay, that gives us an average of 200 lux.
So that's the Hollywood level sorted. How will benchmark 2 compare? Adam's got a plan.
Since the archaeologists in this myth went from the bright sun into the tomb, we're going to do the same thing. Here I am in Jamie's electronics room with 2 lights simulating the bright sun. I will then leave the electronics room and walk down the Tunnel of Osiris, otherwise known as Jamie's battery and wire storage shelf. I will then enter the main shop area, which will be pitch black, and I'll use this rope to guide myself out into the middle of the shop. And when I hit the knot, I turn and start to walk the obstacle course. The question is, what is the minimum amount of light required for me to walk this obstacle course without breaking anything? It's not gonna be easy.
To find out, Adam set his overhead light source to its bare minimum setting.
Okay, Adam, go ahead and do your thing.
All right, here I go.
Jamie monitors progress on an infrared camera.
Holy crap,
There he is.
I can see nothing.
And for those of you who find the sound of breaking glass disturbing, now might be a good time to switch your set to mute.
Oh, I'm the worst archaeologist ever.
It's a bruising encounter. As Adam
This is insane!
stumbles his way through the wine glass maze.
Here I am, I made it to the end.
And it's clear this light level's far too low for the human eye test.
That was a horror show.
You pretty much broke every glass that was in your path.
Yeah, I think we need to turn up the lights a little bit. Let's make it a little brighter and see if I can't make out some of these shapes.
Okay.
I'll replace the glasses.
Adam tries a slightly increased light level
There we go. One notch up.
and sets off again.
Okay, Adam, you're good to go.
All right, here I go. Man, I can't make out.
There went his first glass.
I'm starting to be able to see things. Oh, my eyes are adjusting.
Yeah, he's doing a lot better, actually.
It's still a blur. Oh,
There's number 2,
oh,
number 3,
ah.
4, 5,
And after a disappointing start,
7.
it soon becomes another catacomb catastrophe.
All right, Jamie, I'm at the end. Let's turn on the light.
You did a little better.
I did a little bit better. It's the kind of thing where, you know, if you start to not try and look ahead of you, you can sort of make out rough shapes in front of you. It was nowhere near what I would consider visibility. I think we need to turn it up.
So they increase the light level again. And again. And again. But it's not until light level 6 that Adam finally makes it.
This is it. This is the light level. I'm gonna make it the whole way. I made it.
So they break out the lux meter to shed some science on this final setting.
What's the verdict? How dim is it?
I get 0.389 of a lux.
Of ambient light?
Yeah.
That is amazingly dim. My takeaway from this experiment is it is astonishing how well evolved the human eye is for gathering light. I was able to pick my way carefully through this complex and delicate maze without breaking a single glass. I think I'm gonna succeed. At just 0.389 lux. That's only slightly brighter than a full moon.
At 0.39 lux, the minimum human eye level is 500 times dimmer than Hollywood. And with both benchmarks in the bag, the question now is, can bouncing light with mirrors beat either benchmark?
All right, let's turn out the lights.
Can mirrors illuminate a murky mausoleum using the sun? The film The Mummy claims it can.
And then there was light.
But is this history or hooey? To find out, Adam and Jamie have established 2 benchmarks of illumination.
I can see nothing.
A Hollywood lighting level
200 lux.
and a human eye level.
I get 0.389 of a lux.
And now, by using 2 types of mirror, will they be able to match either benchmark? Well, first up, Adam polishes up some ye olde metal mirrors, and Jamie lines them up.
We've set these mirrors up to bounce light from mirror to mirror down the length of the room. Now our goal is to see if those beams will raise the ambient light level.
To test this myth, they'll line up their mirrors and try a sun substitute.
The artificial sun for this test needs to be like the sun, that is, heavily collimated. That means all the light beams are actually traveling parallel to each other. And the most collimated light we can rent is this, a spotlight.
Ta-da!
And with the metal mirrors lined up, it's time for a moment of discovery. When the shop lights are turned off, how bright will the mirror's light be?
All right, let's turn out the lights. It looks great. I didn't think it would be this good.
Adam's right. First impressions are that these mirrors are working well. But crucially, how are they doing in the lux department?
Got it?
All right. The average ambient light of the polished metal, 1.13 lux. Do our light bouncing mirrors work like they do in the film? I'd say that they do. There is an impressive amount of ambient light in this room solely because of the mirrors. Do they look like they do in the movie? No, they do not. By the 6th mirror, this beam is no longer collimated. It is a heavily scattered affair.
The scattering, or loss of focus, is not a good look, but the level of light itself is promising. It's clearly not as bright as the movie, but it is better than their naked eye benchmark. So can modern glass be a more polished performer?
This is our polished metal mirror, and this is our glass mirror. Obviously, the glass mirror is more reflective, but is that what we really want? It may be the case that the metal mirror is actually diffusing light more and therefore lighting up the ambient light in the room more. We're just going to have to try it to find out.
So to do that, they position the mirrors with the overhead lights on. And then,
Well, the mirrors are in place. They look great. Here we go. That looks fantastic. It looks just like the movie.
surprise, surprise.
Yeah, the beams are a lot clearer than they were with the polished metal.
This is more than enough light for me to make it through that maze.
Yeah, I would think so.
Well, let's take some readings and find out.
The modern glass looks better,
All right. Good.
but does the data back that up?
How did our glass mirrors do?
You're gonna love this. First, you remember the ambient light reading we got from the polished metal was 1.13 lux?
Yeah.
Our glass mirrors came in at 0.487 lux.
Who knew?
I know, less than half. Isn't that amazing?
There seems to be more going on here than meets the eye. The goal of all this is to raise the ambient light level in a room, and mirrors alone aren't going to cut it. That light needs to hit something that scatters it. It could be my white shirt, or it can be fog, but it has to scatter to light the room.
Because the modern mirrors give a cleaner beam, the ambient light they give off is actually less than the polished metal, meaning the metal wins. But what's also clear is that the real loser in this proof of concept test is Hollywood.
Look, on this show, we've always known that Hollywood has a penchant for exaggeration. Our Hollywood lighting setup in this shop was 100 times brighter than the ambient light levels we got in our small-scale testing. But that doesn't mean this myth is busted. No, because those ambient light levels were still 2.5 times brighter than what we determined was necessary to safely maneuver through our tomb. That tells me we have every reason to go full scale and bring in the real sun.
Adam and Jamie have been reflecting on some proof of concept tests at the shop.
The average ambient light of the polished metal, 1.13 lux.
Can you really use mirrors to turn dark into day?
This is more than enough light for me to make it through that maze.
It's certainly a case of so far so good. But will these results scale up? Will using the real sun and a much larger crypt be the making of this myth?
Well, this is the place.
Looks great.
Okay, it's not ancient Egypt,
Shall I open it up?
Absolutely.
but Treasure Island in San Francisco Bay
Perfect.
uncovers an unexpected underground treasure.
Well, shall we set up?
Let's turn on the house lights. All right, house lights up.
Well, this is our space. Now, it's not a tomb, but it is underground, and it's very, very dark. So it'll be perfect for our testing.
Jamie blocks out a few spots to make total darkness.
There we go.
Meanwhile, Adam's manufacturing modern glass mirrors.
Now, I'll wager you're probably yelling at the screen right now, wondering why I'm building these with glass mirrors when our polished metal mirrors actually gave us a higher ambient light reading.
1.13 lux.
This is probably easiest to explain if you take a look at these two shots our cameraman filmed this morning. On the left are the polished metal mirrors, on the right, the glass. Now, see how the light from the polished metal mirrors peters out really fast? Compare that to the glass mirrors where the light is strong virtually all the way to the end, and that's what's really important. This myth isn't about the type of mirror used, it's about bouncing a beam of light. And the polished metal didn't give us that beam. It only lasted about 15 feet before it was diffused. That's why the glass is what we're using in our full-size tomb.
And with that cleared up, there's just one more ingredient left: the sun.
Now all we need to do is see if the sun's going to cooperate with us. And that's actually a pretty big if, because not only do we have to worry about whether we can reflect sun into the building, in other words, is it lined up at a decent angle for that, but also this is San Francisco and it's regularly kind of foggy here. If we have a few too many clouds, we're going to be out of business.
Yep, without the big guy in the sky, the tomb's doomed.
Well, I can see the sun, but it is awfully overcast. It is what it is.
So with San Francisco's fickle weather doing its darndest to delay things, Adam has a backup plan.
Have you met my son? It is a 7,000 watt xenon spotlight. I'm gonna turn it on now.
Oh! Look at that puppy. Boom!
Behold, I am the master of the sun.
Adam's humongous light source gives a whopping 160,000 lux at 50 feet.
That is freaking awesome.
But will it be bright enough to illuminate their colossal crypt?
I think that's right.
To find out, the guys will shine in Adam's sun, position the mirrors, and then check the light reading. Starting now.
House lights out. Shall we bring in the sun?
Sure, why not?
Let's bring in the first sunbeam.
All right, you ready for it?
I'm ready for it. Bring it on.
Okay, here it comes.
There it is.
Just like the movie, they're using 6 mirrors, all of which are around 35 feet apart.
Doink.
Man, that's bright.
Dude, that is like a 2-foot laser beam. Going for mirror number 4.
Nice.
All right, there it is. That's as good as it gets. Going for the last mirror.
Okay, coming down.
Zoop. That's it. You're in. Ta-da!
And there we go. That works pretty good.
I swear, I'm going to go out on a limb and say this room is nicely lit. I can move through the antiques without hurting anything.
Easily.
Look, nobody can say that we didn't accurately match the look and behavior of this technique in the film.
Yep, it looks just like the tomb.
It's a good start, but what does the all-important data say?
All right, let's take a reading.
Okay, I got it.
Well, it turns out that bigger is absolutely better. Going full scale with our mirrors is yielding an ambient light reading in this room of 2.3 lux. And when you're in this room, you can totally carefully make your way among the artifacts without any difficulty at all. By both an objective and an empirical standard, the theory behind this technique is totally sound.
In fact, it's over 5 times brighter than the minimum level they determined earlier. And that's very good news for the myth, except for one little thing.
Going full scale and using an artificial light source, we were able to very closely replicate what we saw in the movie. But this story is about using the sun.
Jamie's right, but luckily, the long-lost sons finally put in a show. So, let there be light.
The question is, will it be enough light for an archaeologist such as me or Mr. Heinemann to be able to move through a tomb without breaking anything?
Back on Treasure Island, the San Francisco sun is finally smiling on Jamie and Adam's test setup,
I'm in the door.
meaning they can finally attempt a real-world test using their large tomb and the real sun.
Yeah, baby.
The problem is, unlike all their other tests, they can't just point the sun straight inside.
I think we're set. Should we bring in the sun?
Let's bring it in. Okay, house lights out.
Instead, they have to bounce it in, courtesy of a primary mirror outside.
Wow, look at that.
I'm gonna go for the first mirror.
Okay,
But once that's sorted,
that is intense.
We got a beam in the room. Here I am.
Here it comes.
it's then back to the tricky task of aligning all the mirrors.
Okay. That's pretty good.
Look at that. It's actually working.
One by one,
Going for mirror 2.
Oh, right.
Mirror 2.
until the end target is lit.
Mirror 3. Oh,
There we go. That's beautiful. All right, I'm gonna bring it in on our last target. And there it is. Perfect.
That is fantastic.
This is the best yet. I can totally see things in here. I can pick them up, put them back, no problem.
I am blown away by how well this technique worked. With sunlight and mirrors, we made enough ambient light in this room to totally move around it without breaking any artifacts.
Okay,
But what are the lux levels?
2.51 lux. That's amazing. That's really bright.
They've cracked it. 6 times brighter than the minimum eye level. Enough to put a smile on Adam's dial. Well, briefly.
we're losing our beam.
Yeah, we are.
You know what the problem is?
What?
The sun's moving. The relationships have all changed a little bit, Jamie.
Have they?
Yeah, the sun's moved off the primary, which means the aim on the secondary is a little bit off.
As the sun moves off the primary mirror, it kicks all the others out of kilter.
And the sun's moved again. I'm gonna kick the primary one more time.
Okay.
And for lighting up a tomb, that is a problem.
The thing about using the sun is that the Earth is rotating on its axis, and it's also rotating around the sun, which means that from our perspective, the sun is moving all over the place across the sky. So you can't really expect to be able to aim a beam of light using a mirror at a specific spot without constantly adjusting it to accommodate for the sun's movement.
And its movement is surprisingly fast.
With this much distance on these mirrors, the amount the sun's moving on the last one is like inches per minute. Well, it works, but only for about 3 minutes at a time before the sun moves.
That's a little bit of a problem, isn't it?
It is.
Well, I guess if you have a bunch of slaves to constantly adjust the mirrors.
The mirrors are static, they don't move dynamically, but the sun does. And as the sun moves through the sky, it changes its geometry on the primary mirror, which changes the geometry on all the other mirrors in this room. They'd have to be moved dynamically throughout the whole thing to keep this room lit. So because of that, I don't feel like we've really seen the theory behind this technique work as well as it could.
Yep, and that's something that didn't happen in the movie. But before the sun sets on this myth, Jamie's got one little trick up his sleeve. Back at Tut HQ on Treasure Island, Jamie's not quite done testing Lux levels.
There's one other thing I'd like to try. You're gonna like it.
All right, let's do it.
In their earlier small-scale tests, Jamie made an ambient light level breakthrough.
The goal of all this is to raise the ambient light level in a room, and mirrors alone aren't going to cut it. That light needs to hit something that scatters it.
So now, in their full-sized sunlit tomb, he's itching to see if this scatter theory will scale.
Turn off your headlamp and check this out.
That's beautiful.
And you thought I didn't know how to light up a room.
I stand corrected. Let's take a reading. Okay, maximum. All right, moving away. Average lux, 8.62 lux. Woo for Jamie's shirt.
Amazingly, with this reflective scattering, Jamie's whiter-than-white shirt has given the maximum light reading for the entire experiment. Adam's gobsmacked.
Well, it turns out that Jamie's starched white shirt provides almost 3 times as much ambient light in this space as the next best technique of everything that we've tried.
And Jamie's reaction? Well, this is Jamie.
A mirrored surface is going to be your best bet to get light into a room because it's very directional. But if you want to actually light the room, once that light gets in there, you're best off if it hits a surface like my white shirt, because the white isn't so directional. It's going to spread the light and raise your ambient light level.
How do you want to wrap this up?
In theory, it's plausible, because the sun's rays did in fact provide enough ambient light to move around the room.
I agree. Plausible, but totally impractical. First of all, the sun moves, so you only get that light for about 3.5 minutes before you have to shift everything. And the idea that all those mirrors would sit around for 3,000 years and be ready to light up that room, totally ridiculous.
Yeah, plausible, but ridiculous.
Yeah.